this is Everyday Commentary, and this is a video overview of this flashlight. And this flashlight is the 4.7's Paladin. And as you can see, it is a very complex piece of machining for a flashlight. And it represents something of a departure from 4.7's. They've had the same 3 or 4 models for 3 or 4 years, and they upgrade the emitters and they tweak them here and there and change the memory modes. This is an entirely new flashlight. And this flashlight is part of a release that involves 2 lights, both of which are designed by Paul Kim. And Paul Kim was one of the main engineers at Surefire. If you look at the patents that are attributed to Mr. Kim, there are dozens. Basically, if you own a modern flashlight, it involves some innovation that Mr. Kim has invented. He is really sort of the father of the modern flashlight. He's the guy that made it possible for a lot of the production companies to make the lights that they do. And so a design by him is an important design. It should be noted that a couple of years ago, Mr. Kim and Surefire parted ways, and since then he had been producing his own lights, all of which have this very, very ornate style to them. But this is the first production light, to my knowledge, that Mr. Kim has made with a company other than Surefire, noting, of course, that he made Icon lights, which were sort of his brainchild, and they were not branded by Surefire, but I do believe they were produced by Surefire. So, this is his first post-Surefire production light. And this light is incredibly small. As you can see, it's about the size of your thumb. It's very fat, and it's got a lot of knurling and cuts and all kinds of wacky machining going on. It's got the double pocket clip, so it can go this way or it can go this way, sort of like the E1B from Surefire. It has a very unusual, to my mind, to my knowledge, unique interface. So it has a lockout feature, so you twist the tail cap and it locks out. You can twist it a little bit, and now it's in momentary mode, where you can click and it goes from low to high. That's high, and that's low. Or you can turn it all the way over and have it operate as a twisty. So that will lock in low, and then if you want to go to high, you just untwist it and lock in high. A couple other things that this flashlight has is it has sort of a built-in set of accessories. So the clip can come off, and when it comes off, you can take this sort of what I call the flashlight skirt and mount it here, and it makes for a strike bezel. And I think strike bezels are stupid on flashlights, so I think this is a stupid feature. That being said, it does give you options, and options are always good, even if they're stupid options. And the reason is maybe somebody out there really wants to have a strike bezel on their flashlight. Maybe someone thinks that they're going to be able to defend themselves with this tiny little flashlight. But basically, if I can get it to go, there we go. And so you take this strike bezel off, and now you have access to the clip. Put everything back together. I'm going to just leave the clip off so that I can do this more quickly. And it screws down. So now you have a really purposeful strike bezel on the Paladin. It's not something I think is a useful feature at all, quite frankly. This is not what people use their flashlights for. But it gives you options. My favorite way to carry the light is without a clip, and you put this retaining ring on. Now the retaining ring can do a couple of things. The retaining ring can sit up here and guard the light's lens, or if you want to, you can have the light in, you take off the head, you slide down the clip, then you can use the retaining ring to hold the clip in place, and you don't have to have the strike bezel on. I don't like the clip. The clip is really terrible. The clip is it's one of the worst pocket clips I've ever seen. And I like the two-way clip. That's a really great idea. The problem here is these fins, and I know that they're sort of part of the Kim aesthetic, but as you take your light in and out of your pocket, what ends up happening is one of two things. Either you abrade the fabric in your pocket, or more likely, you sort of bang up your hand. And the reason is these fins are right in the way. There's just no way to get this light in or out of your pocket. without bumping into those fins. And the fins are not, they're not sharp, like you can't cut paper with them, but they're really an unpleasant shape. And it's just, it's not, this is one of those places where aesthetics should have given way to functionality, because that's not a good design. There's no question about that. That's just a terrible design. A couple other things that I didn't like about the light. Let's see if we can get this to focus. Hello, camera, pretty shiny thing. There we go. You can see the lens is exposed. I don't think that's ever going to be an issue. I don't think I'm going to break the lens, but it does make for, again, some unpleasant pokey parts, and which is why my favorite configuration is to remove the clip and then to use the retaining ring up here to guard the lens and to create a more even bezel. The light does tail stand really well. It doesn't roll. But the third problem that I have with the light, and this is the biggest problem, is that the user interface is very simple in that you can sort of use it without thinking about it, but it's not quite, it's definitely not state-of-the-art. And you know, I'm thinking about it, and as I've carried this flashlight over the last week since I got it, I've been trying to figure out like what is wrong with the UI. And here's what it is. This is unlike a lot of the flashlights on the market. It has an exposed button. So the button, the actuator for the flashlight, let's see if I can get these to thread from behind the camera. The button that is used to turn the light on, is open. You can bump it pretty easy. So in order to make sure that you don't have the light come on in your pocket, and I've gotten really bad hot pocket twice, is you have to lock it out. If you lock it out, then it's not really all that convenient to use as a one-handed flashlight. And I don't think that's the end of the world, but the marketplace is really competitive right now. And something like that should not have happened. All they would have to do is to just put a button here. And I know that they wanted to have something different and unique, and I get that. But if they had a button in here and you could twist this to do the lockout, or not to do the lockout, but to do the lock-in, you could still do the momentary on. The button would do the momentary on, and this would be the lockout. I don't know if they'd have to do a whole lot of different machining or engineering inside the light to have that happen, but having the activating button exposed means that unless you are locking it out every time you put it in your pocket, there's always the chance, and it's happened twice to me in a week, that the light will come on and stay on in your pocket. And it gets pretty hot pretty quickly. It's 450 lumens out the front. It's a 25 lumen low mode. There are locked hidden modes you can get to, strobe, an SOS, and then a medium. There is no moonlight. And that's the fourth problem I have with this light. This light does not match up on a output basis to even the most rudimentary of the 4.7's lights. 4.7's lights came on the market. They were the first mainstream production lights to have a moonlight mode. And since then, pretty much everybody has adopted it because it's a very, very useful feature. You can use your light at night without blowing your night vision. Well, 25 lumens will blow your night vision. This is not a moonlight low. And so to have a light that's supposed to be, you know, your new high-end, like blinged out light, and have it be less feature-rich than your other lights is really silly, especially when that feature is one that is sort of your calling card. That's the thing that made 4.7's famous. That's the reason flashlight people like it. And to not have that mode is just dumb. It's a dumb idea. It's stupid. So I got this light because I knew that people would be interested in it, and I want to have a review of the light. This one is the PVD blue. There's a silver one, and then you can get blue, silver, and red flashlight skirts, the impact bezel, the strike bezel. So you can accessorize this all different kinds of ways. But here's the bottom line. First of all, if you really like this light, there's really no reason to get the titanium one. Just go get the aluminum one called the Night. This is the Paladin, and then Night is the other one. But you shouldn't like this light. It's not competitive in the marketplace. The output's okay, the size is okay. but this stuff, this is not features. This is garbage. Like, I basically have taken these off and left them off. The pocket clip is awful. The strike bezel is stupid. The UI is half-baked. It's not very good. And then the fact that there's no low, I mean, it's not worth your money. I mean, it's not a bad light. It's not broken. It does what they say it will do. But I can't see how this is any better than the S1 or the Surefire Titan Plus. I mean, it's just not competitive. It's not a competitive light. And I appreciate the fact that it's the Kim aesthetic, the Paul Kim aesthetic. It's not really my thing, but I like the fact that there's a lot of detail in the machining and all that kind of stuff, and it does look pretty. But in terms of a piece of gear that's functional, I just think that this is below par. So I'll probably write up a review of this light just because it's something that I'm sure everybody's interested in. But save your money, buy something else.